So today, we're going to dive into the life and mind of an absolutely revolutionary thinker. We're talking about an 18th century rebel whose ideas on reason, rights, and revolution, well, they might be more relevant now than ever before.
Okay, so most of us have heard of Mary Shelley, right? The genius who gave us Frankenstein. But what about her mother? Turns out her story is an incredible tale of revolution and rebellion that basically laid the groundwork for how we think about the rights of, half the human race.
And this is her, Mary Wollstonecraft, a writer, a philosopher, a true pioneer. Her life was just full of financial hardship and personal tragedy, but also just incredible intellectual brilliance. It was a turbulent life for sure, but her ideas, wow, they would set the stage for women's rights movements for centuries to come.
To really get a handle on just how radical her ideas were, we first have to understand the world that made her. A world with stark, suffocating limitations for women. A world she was absolutely determined to change.
And for Wollstonecraft, this wasn't some abstract theory, This was her actual life. Her father totally mismanaged the family's money, and while her brother got a proper education to become a lawyer, Mary and her sisters, they had to fend for themselves in the handful of jobs open to them. She saw firsthand how society just wasted the potential of women, treating them as little more than property.
But all that struggle, it didn't break her. Instead, it fueled this incredible intellectual fire that led to her most famous, most groundbreaking work, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman.
Okay, so this slide really gets to the heart of her whole argument. The popular idea at the time, which was pushed by big-name thinkers like Rousseau, was that women should basically be educated to be pretty ornaments for men. Wollstonecraft just fiercely rejected this. She argued that women were, first and foremost, rational human beings, just as capable of reason and virtue as any man.
And this quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? Her goal wasn't to flip the script and have women dominate men. Nope, it was about autonomy. It was about the freedom that comes from having self-control, from having a mind that is cultivated and independent.
And here's the crucial part. This wasn't just about empowering individual women. Wollstonecraft made this brilliant argument that educating women was essential for the health of the entire country. She said uneducated women raise superficial kids, and dependent wives make for empty marriages. But rational, educated women, they would raise thoughtful citizens, become true partners to their husbands, and actually strengthen the moral fabric of society itself. And here's what's so incredible. Now, over 200 years later, we know she was absolutely right. She was a total visionary. I mean, think about it. Without any of our modern data, she just intuitively understood that educating a young girl would directly impact the future prosperity and justice of an entire nation. Just amazing.
But here's the thing. Wollstonecraft didn't just write about revolution from a comfy chair. She threw herself right into the middle of it. Her time in France during its most violent years would test not only her philosophy, but her own heart.
At first, she was all in. She actually moved to Paris in 1792 because she was so excited, and she passionately defended the French Revolution's ideals of liberty against conservative critics back home.
But then, she saw the reality up close. Living in Paris, she came face to face with the absolute brutality of the Reign of Terror. She watched her own friends get thrown in prison, even executed. And this bloody reality forced her to confront the huge, terrifying gap between an ideal and what humans are actually capable of. And at the exact same time, her personal life was just as chaotic. She felt head over heels for an American businessman, had a child with him without being married, and then he completely abandoned her. The whole experience drove her to attempt suicide, twice. It taught her a really painful lesson. Passion isn't something that reason can just easily control. So tragically, Mary Wollstonecraft died when she was just 38, from complications right after giving birth to her second daughter, Mary. But what came next wasn't a celebration of her life's work. It was a century-long battle over her legacy.
I mean, this timeline is just wild. Her husband, Godwin, meant to write a loving tribute to her, but his memoir was so brutally honest about her love affairs and suicide attempts that it completely destroyed her reputation. For more than 100 years, she was remembered not as a brilliant philosopher, but as a cautionary tale. It took until the feminist movements of the 20th century for people to rediscover her work and finally see her for the hero she was.
And yet, you just can't keep a good idea down, right? Through all of it, her core ideas survived. This quote right here, it's still a central pillar of feminist and democratic thought today.
It's such a simple, elegant truth that just cuts right to the heart of what justice is all about.
And that leaves us with a final, really powerful question. Wollstonecraft's argument from over 200 years ago that we all lose when we waste human potential, it feels just as urgent today as it did when she first put pen to paper. The question is, are we finally ready to listen?